So what do you do when you have clients who have difficulty focusing? So you're a coach and you're a hypnotist, and you have clients who said that there's someone who has difficulty relaxing or focusing. Maybe they've mentioned to you in passing that they have something like ADHD or any neurodivergent type diagnosis, and they have trouble just focusing. What do you do with those types of clients? And this is very interesting, right? Because truth of the matter is, no matter who it is, whether client is, neurotypical or neurodivergent, neurodivergent clients can also go into a hypnotic state. It just looks very different, right? And the ironic thing about conversational hypnosis, which is the methodology that I use for clients and have actually used for ADHD clients, um, they actually I should say clients who are neurodivergent express themselves, or their subconscious expresses itself very differently, and it's very different with all the clients, right? And because with hypnosis there's this myth that you always have to focus, then you always have to be calm. Sometimes it throws off and turns off the clients who are neurodivergent or with ADHD, because they assume that they just can't go into hypnosis, or they can't meditate. It's because most hypnosis modalities are meditative in nature, but truth of the matter is we're always accessing our subconscious mind, right? And so for these clients, you really want to work with them instead of against them. You really want to get to know them through your questioning, and even through your sales call process as to what they're going to be like in your sessions. Working with I have one client in particular who has an ADHD diagnosis, and she was very interesting because I gave her a session using very traditional hypnosis modality and advanced conversational hypnosis. Now, in the traditional hypnosis modality, where it was typically, eyes closed, relaxation, she actually was able to respond to it pretty well, but she was very talkative, right? And sometimes we get in our heads, especially if you're a hypnotist, where you're like, oh my God, they talk too much, they must not be in trance, they must not be relaxed that much. But this client actually had amazing results either way. I kind of just worked with her and met her where she was at, even with the hypnosis modality. And I didn't allow myself to overthink. I really just used my intuition with her during that. And what's interesting, when I used conversational hypnosis with her, was she actually responded extremely well with it, because she just went into this really weird trance where she talked a lot, right? She kind of just talked herself out of the problem. She had a problem to come in with, and then she ended without the problem. And how she did it was she talked through it. Now, this is very difficult for you to maybe conceptualize because you're not there and you didn't see it. But conversational hypnosis is a conversation where I ask the questions, she answers. And whenever she would answer, she would very much have this really long winded answer. And in conversational hypnosis, as a practitioner, we teach you exactly what to look for, what response to look for a client, whether it's conscious or unconscious information. So for me, when I worked with her, what I did was I just observed her for unconscious moments. And when I saw unconscious moments, I interrupted her conscious mind from thinking. And then I asked her a question about that unconscious moment. And so, really, just being really present with her. And yeah, it was different. And I did feel the challenge with it, but it was really through this client that really blew my mind as to how powerful this modality is, because it works for those very like highly analytical clients as well. So with her, it was really interesting because we were talking, because it's a conversation, and I really just asked her about those unconscious moments. And by the end, I still remember that moment when she was just like, she looked at me and she was like, oh my God, you're a wizard. How did you do that? Because her way of solving her problem was talking herself out of it. And sometimes when you are trained in hypnosis, especially how I was trained, it was like when clients talk too much, like that's not a good thing, right? But for some clients, that is what they need, right? Especially with this client, she needed to talk herself out of it. And to be quite honest, sometimes I am like that, where I have to talk through my problem and hear myself throughout thinking about the problem and hear my thoughts and emotions and everything to do about the problem. And then I go, and then I have a choice. Now that it's out there, I can have a new choice. And that starts the thinking and rewiring process. So the point is, if you have someone who has ADHD and neurodivergent divergent clients, just allow yourself to accept this challenge, right? And when you do have a tool belt toolkit in your belt that has to do with conversational hypnosis and learning the principles of it, it is much easier to work with those clients because you'll just know what to look for instead of putting clients into a box. You'll know how to work with each and every human being because all you're doing is using the principles that govern human behavior, human psychology, and neuroscience. And that's the best thing about conversational hypnosis, right? Like it was really like a big transformative event, not just for the client when I worked with her using ACH. Obviously, she had the biggest breakthrough, right? And she was very grateful for it. She called me a wizard, and I love that. But for me, it was like, wow, this method is extremely powerful, especially since it works with neurodivergent clients. Um, and so yeah, that's pretty much my tip for you. Listen to your client, meet them where they're at, and just be curious with the responses that they give you, and look for those unconscious moments. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what your experience has been like with working with ADHD clients or any neurodivergent clients. And also in the community that I'm in, where we practice with other ACH practitioners, it's been pretty much the practitioners who've also worked with ADHD clients have also said that it worked very well for them because the principles really work for most clients. Because it's really just about focusing on the client and not putting them in a box and instead meeting them where they're at. So meet your clients where they're at, whether they be male, female, anxious, nervous, happy, sad, grieving, neurodivergent, neurotypical, whatever the label is, right? Because at the end of the day, the labels don't matter. It's a client sitting in front of you wanting a transformation. So treat them as such with respect and give them the space and give them safety and listen to them actively. And when you bring all those principles together, as well as the other principles of ACH, then only magical things and fast and lasting transformations can happen, right? So I will see you soon.